I'm Andrew Patterson from interest.co.nz and welcome to another in our business update series. Today I'm with Greg Hall, the co-founder of Kohu Road Ice Cream. Hello Greg.
Hi, how's it going?
So Greg, tell us about the origins of the business and how it started and where your passion for ice cream first came from.
Okay. Well, it's a fascinating thing. I really do love what I do, but I don't. People always say you're so passionate about it, and wow, you're so excited, and it's really great, and I never feel that myself. So it's kind of weird because I just say what I think and talk away or do my thing, but the feedback is always this incredible sense of energy and that sense of passion. It's quite a sort of it's almost a cliché now, being passionate about what you do, but it's something that I really do believe in, and you know, it's I think it flows in your blood, you know, and the food thing is really part of who I am. So yeah, it comes across in everything that you say and do, and how the decisions you make and how you go about your business.
So as a kid, were you a mass ice cream eater?
Oh yeah, actually I was, yeah. I've always had a sweet tooth, ice cream and chocolate and cakes and things. So yeah, it's always been a part of my life, I guess.
Now there's a lot of competition in this space. This is a highly competitive business. Why did you think there was a market for another player to join that space at the moment?
Well, it certainly was competitive, and it was certainly a number of ice cream brands in the market. But when we started, there hadn't really been a new ice cream for a very long period of time. And we'd just come back from overseas, so it was all kind of new, and we were looking at it quite objectively. And so we dived in. But it later became apparent that not only was there a big hole where we positioned ourselves, there was also no new excitement or activity in the ice cream section for 5-10 years. So it actually was ripe for some catalyst to invigorate that category again.
So the marketers would say you were a disruptive brand.
We were very disruptive. And all of the incumbent brands were very naysaying on what we were doing and how we were going about doing it. And there was a lot of sort of, about our brand and our labeling and merchandising, and particularly our price point.
What about the pricing? Because this is a business that's quite price sensitive, as food tends to be. So how do you go about pricing the product?
The price really set itself because we had a certain amount of costs to produce it, which are vastly higher than any of the major manufacturing plants. And so we talked to some retailers and said, if we were this price, how much would you want to? If you're retailing it for this, how much would you want to buy it from us? And because I was so naive, I didn't even know those sort of retail margin structures. So it took a bit of sort of reverse thinking in terms of how much they need to make, and to set the point that we sort of ended up with our price point.
What about getting shelf space? Because this is the other issue, isn't it? With the likes of the big, dominated by two major supermarket companies, they put a price on their shelf space. How do you fight your way into the freezer effectively?
There's lots of different strategies, and funnily enough, the first supermarket that took us, less than a fight, it was more of a beg, and where I literally was on my knees saying, just give me a chance, please, and the guy's like, nobody's going to buy this product. And the difficulty we had with supermarkets was that the supermarket freezer manager who made that decision, not the owner, there's no way he could afford to pay $20 for a litre of ice cream. It was beyond his wildest imagination. So there's no way that person could then visualize a customer spending that much. So it was quite a hard barrier. The most fascinating thing that listeners would probably be interested in is that for a food manufacturer, we actually have to sell our product twice. And that's the real battle, because you have to really try hard to get that shelf space, and the freezers are such a premium because sometimes it's just one little freezer and getting in there is tough. But then you've got to sell it to the customer as well. So the store, the supermarket or the specialty grocer is really just a conduit, and they're making your product available, but they do less to actually sell your product than you have to do yourself. So you're selling to consumers, oh please, here's our product, and you're also saying to the shops, please give us a chance to, and stock our product. So it's quite a mission.
Did you try and build that, that underground demand, so because you go to your website, you say to customers, by the way, if you don't see our product in the freezer, go and tell the shop owner. So you try and drive it from the bottom up a bit as well too?
Sometimes things are out of your hands, and as a small self-funded business, without much money behind us, you really have to try and be creative in the way you go about doing things. So we've always had to talk directly with the customer one-on-one, and that's been very effective for us because we've never been able to have national marketing campaigns. And when you're talking to a consumer like that national marketing campaign is very effective because you have such a broad reach to people, and you can quickly build up that brand trust because they see your brand on the telly or they hear it on the radio, and the more they hear that, the more they can trust you, even though they don't really know you. So for us, it was a one-on-one thing, going out into stores, letting people taste it, and they'd eat some of it, and they go, oh my God, oh, that's amazing, And then it's very easy to pick up that tub and put it in your trolley. And that's why we're still here, really, because there is that difference you mentioned. There's the artisan, high-quality product, and there's the sort of the mass-produced product, and those are very divergent streams. And there's a big hole opening in the middle. But for us, our product was good enough that people saw the value in it. And as soon as you eat that and you go, wow, that was value for money, it was worth it, it stops being expensive.
And it's social media, is that playing an important part in your marketing strategy as well?
Yes and no. We work with social media a little bit. But yeah, it's a difficult one. We don't have a dedicated marketing person, and social media really have to be on top of that all the time. And Kohu Road as a brand is not. It's sort of it's in a little grey zone in terms of, from my point of view, in terms of social media. It's not a brand that we can do discounts and competitions and win 2 tubs and all that sort of thing, because we just can't offer that sort of those opportunities. So when you're talking on social media, your conversations are a lot more limited. So it tends to be really adopted by real fast-moving consumer goods, real sort of low price, low margin, high volume sort of products in the food sphere. And then outside of that, I think it's young, it's t-shirts or it's cool jeans and stuff like that, as opposed to like a Louis Vuitton bag or, I don't know, Lexus probably does a bit of social media, but it's probably not their strength, and we've seen that with very high-end wines and stuff where they don't even have a Facebook page.
So Greg, of course, you've just completed 5 years in business. What were some of those key challenges for you along the way?
We've grown much faster than was envisaged. We really wanted to be still this small little cottage business chipping away, after 5 years, because that's about the time that our youngest child was due to go to school. So it's grown rapidly, but there was that demand. So we went out and met that and did our best to fill it. And we're also in Australia, and we export a little bit to the islands. But Australia is a huge market, which is vastly untapped by New Zealand ice cream companies. And I think possibly because it's very hard to get into, and the limit is transport, really, because it's a frozen product. If we're making biscuits that were shelf stable, it's easy to ship, it's easy to store, it's easy to distribute. But any distributor has to have a big freezer, and you've got to ship it frozen, so it's a lot more complex. But yeah, the Australian market's going really well for us, and of course New Zealand is growing. You
wouldn't think of establishing a manufacturing operation in Australia?
I think Australia is close enough. We have definitely thought a lot about when we expand to Europe or to America, that we would manufacture there, or maybe make under a license. But yeah, I've always felt it would be odd to go to ship our milk up to like the UK. they have great dairy over there and green grass, and it would be a great base to use our IP and use our techniques, but also using their milk and cream.
So you obviously do have global growth aspirations, and how important then is the New Zealand brand to reinforce the positioning of a brand like Kohu Road?
I think it's really important. I think obviously New Zealand has an image, and I would implore everybody in New Zealand to do their bit to try and maintain that, because we can do a lot more in terms of how clean we are and how green we are, and the work we do on the environment. But yeah, the New Zealand brand and the image people have it would be a crucial part of how we would operate, for sure.
And Greg, perhaps an obvious question, what makes a great ice cream?
For us, it's all about taste, and behind that is about ethics. So we always set first and foremost about making it taste as great as it possibly can. And we do that with, every artisan will harp on about, real ingredients. It's a bit of a travesty because you can get organic products out in the marketplace that are full of E-numbers. And for me, that's a real conundrum, because people are going, I'm going to buy this because it's organic certified. But when you actually look into it, you go, goodness, this is... Some countries consider that a carcinogen, and why is that in there? And you really don't need that. We had to do a lot of education of our supply chain and to consumers, because our ice cream is basically like a fresh product. And people, you can get some ice creams that'll be 2 years old before you even buy it. It's like, oh my goodness. But it's really important for us is that when you eat it, you taste something special, and it's better and different and really satisfying. And it's something that we, in English, if you're satisfied, it's sort of okay or it's enough. But in other cultures, the concept of satisfaction is that you're completely made up. You're done, you're full, you're complete. And it's a different kind of concept of satisfaction. And so we're really striving for that, where it's a total thing, and you're just like, oh, okay, I'm finished. That's me, and that feeling is what you get. Yeah. And so that's what sets us apart.
It's got a pure contentment.
Yeah, contentment's a great word. That's a nice word. And people eat like our dark chocolate, and they go, oh my God, that's better than sex, and we've had all sorts of amazing comments, but it's having that pure taste and then backing it up without any cheats or lies or tricks, and we're not injecting air, and we're not filling it with chemicals that will make it taste creamy. It's creamy because it's got organic cream in it, and it's pure.
So this is a brand with a lot of extension possibilities. I mean, you're doing jams as well as ice cream and chocolate and everything. So where else could you take it?
Well, I mean, we probably can't go outside the world of food, but there's a huge opportunity, even within frozen products. There's a huge, a vast array of products that we could start making with our ethos and our guiding principles of how to go about making food.
And Kohu Road, the name, where did that come from?
Well, that's easy. It was a genesis from also the wine industry. I've taken a lot of some key principles from really high-end wine in terms of how they present themselves and talk about themselves and market themselves. So one of the big things with wine is where you're from, your terroir, your soil and your climate and the rain and how much sun you get. So we really wanted to talk about that, so we wanted to be New Zealand without being a sort of cliche. I mean, there's so many Kohus out there that your head spins with them all. So we wanted to be able to talk about our New Zealandness and our location without being a sort of some gimmick. And we live on Kohu Road in Titirangi, and it has a lovely sound. It's like it's Kohu means like mist or fog, and so I always joke that it's the dreamlike state you get in when you're eating the ice cream. Oh.
Well, Greg, what person wouldn't love coming to work every day to produce ice cream, a product that New Zealanders are passionate about? Clearly, you've got plenty of passion for what you do, so I imagine you must love coming to work every day.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have a great team, and if we're looking for someone new, I often write in that job ad, join the dream team, ice cream team, and we get hundreds of responses. So, yeah, it's making people happy is what we're doing at the end of the day, and bringing joy to the world. So it might sound funny, but it's a great job to do.
The staff can eat as much ice cream as they like.
Yeah, we have ice cream days, and we pull together all the ice cream, and everyone can grab some and take it home.